Hello friends, welcome back to Education Infotech channel, day 14 session. Today we're gonna discuss about lookup transformations. Okay, so it's a huge concept. So I will be posting this video in two parts. First, I will discuss about the connected, then we will go with the unconnected transformation. So why we use this lookup transformation? And this is one of the most important topic in Informatica Power Center as well as in IICS. So this lookup transformation we will be using every day in every mapping. Okay. So let's dive into this topic. So lookup transformation is used to look up data in a relational table, flat file, or any other data source to retrieve related data. So this is particularly useful when you need to enhance data by adding related information from different sources. So let me tell you about this. What is this mean by? Let's go with an example. Here I have a table called employee. So in employee we have ID, name, email, department ID and salary. Okay. Here what it is mentioned here, we use to look up data in a relational table or flat file. So in this scenario, we are looking up data on a relational table to retrieve related data. So what we need to do? So we have a table called in this target table, we have a location table. So based on the condition, we gonna retrieve the related data. Okay. So this is particularly useful when you need to enhance data by adding related information from different sources. Let's say, so here we don't have location details and manager details. So I want to add by looking up on this table, I need to add location, department name and manager name. So to this data, so I need to get three more details here, three more columns so that the entire data will be uh, it's a sensible format. Okay, so if you see a person what he is doing and where he is, so by looking up this data we will come to know one person entire information. Okay, so here we have a limited information, we need more information about this employee. So how we can achieve by looking up on this target table. Okay, based on the department matching, I am going to get location, department, and manager name. So this is the meaning by adding related information from different sources. Okay, let's see some key features and use cases. So why we use this lookup transformation? Basically to enrichment of data. The lookup transformation lets you add columns or data points. I told you right here the lookup transformation lets you add columns. These are all the columns or data points from a secondary data set. This is a secondary data set. So we can add the columns here with the data matching on the conditions. Okay. So we do have a catching here. So catching is the most important topic in the IICS or Informatica. So here is the main picture. So catching options, we have a static, dynamic, persistent, shared, and we do have many more. But in our daily basis, we use static, dynamic, and persistent catch. So let's go with each one. Static catch. Data is catch once when the mapping starts and doesn't change during the run. What does it mean by? So you are using this lookup transformation in your mapping. Okay, and you configured static catch for that lookup transformation. Okay, for that particular lookup transformation you are using static catch. So when you run the job, okay, while running, Informatica will catch that data, it will take the data on which table you are looking up. Okay, the entire table information will be cached in a memory. Okay, and it doesn't change in the memory. Whatever the details or data is available, Informatica will read all the data, and based on the condition it will push the data into the target table. But here the thing is, while running the data, okay, while Informatica is processing all the data, so at that time the cache, it will not change. It's like static. So one best example is, you have one uh, history of profits. Okay, total. If you take one business, the entire business every year balance sheet or profit related details or product related details or transaction related details, you have it. Okay, the business was running like, almost it ran like 10 years. Okay, after that it got decommissioned or the business went down and they closed the business, and they are trying to create a new business. Okay, related to the same sales related business only, but they wanted to start in a large manner. So at that time they have a 10 years of history, right? So what they will do, they need to analyze in a how our business was running in previous 10, how the business was ran in previous 10 years. And so they need to analyze the data, right? So let's say they have a 10 years of data and they want to add it, right? They want to analyze the data. So business will analyze that particular data. So when they are incorporated in any job, okay. So let's assume that they are using this IICS only, and they want to analyze the data, and they need to do some analytics, and they need to apply some analytical functions on that. Okay, based on the business requirement. But here is, you need to observe one thing. So it's a history of data, and now the data which they are using, it's not in a live data. Okay, it's a static. We call it as a static. What the static means is, it will not change. If you have 10 records, that's fixed. You are not inserting any records, or you are not deleting any records, or you are not applying any logics, or you are not doing any operations. So those kind of data, which you can call it as a static data. So here also, static cache in the sense, it will, Informatica will fetch the target related data into the memory cache, and based on our condition defined in the lookup transformation, okay, it will just read the data. That's it. It's not going to insert or update. Informatica will not do any operations, because we configured the lookup transformation as a static cache. So whatever comes into the memory, the same based on the condition, it will just push the data to the target table. That's it. So when it comes to the dynamic cache, it's like a opposite. The data will be cached, but Informatica, what it will do, it can insert or update the cache and do the operations in the cache itself. Data is in cache can be updated during the mapping run. If new data is found, then it will insert. Okay, which is useful for maintaining recent values. So dynamic cache, when we will use it, this is purely for maintaining the historical data. Okay, if we can insert it and we can update it, if we can do the error handling for the jobs, if we get any bad records or null records, we can do many operations with this dynamic cache. And we do have this, how many ports you need to return on lookup transformation. Okay, we can set properties as return single or multiple values. The transformation can be set to return the first matching value or all matching values when multiple matches are found. So if you have multiple matches, let's say you have a department ID 10, for the department ID you have a two department names. Okay, one is sales and one is orders, but they are both in the same department. At that time, if you set the property as a match, return any value or return all value. So based on that, it will return. And we have a connected, unconnected, and unconnected. We do have two lookup transformations. We'll discuss about unconnected in the part 2 session. Okay. So in today's session, we mainly focus on connected transformation only. So connected lookup directly connected to the data flow. So it will be in the data flow in between the upstream transformation and downstream transformation. It receives input directly from other transformations and can pass the output directly down the pipeline. Okay, let's go with one example. I'll take this as an example. This is a source. So these are all the columns I have, and I need to get from T location. I need to get location name, department name, manager name. Okay, and then I'll be loading into this table. So now log into IICS, go to new, go to mappings, create mapping. M underscore lookup connected transformation. Okay. So as I said, I'll be taking the source. Source is from source schema, single object. Select the object here. So my table name is employee1, right? EMP1. So let me preview the data. Whether the connection is working fine or not, we can debug here itself. So we are getting the expected data. So these are the fields I have here, and the target here. I'll just do this. Okay. So I'll just take one expression. Here I'm not doing any logics here. I'm not implementing any logics. Just it's a pass-through transformation. Okay. Then I'll take lookup. Okay. So here I'm looking up, and then I'll be passing it to the target table. Here the target table is, it is from target schema. So this is a target table, the employee location. So what I'm doing here, I'll first truncate before loading, since it is a first time load, right? So the operation is insert. Now go to here, lookup. So it is, so we can call it as a connected lookup. Why? Because it is connected to the upstream transformation and as well as downstream transformation in the mapping. So we call it as a connected lookup transformation. Go to connected lookup transformation. If you see here, these are the incoming fields which is coming from employee1, which means from source table. Okay. So now lookup object, on which table or on which object you want to look up the data. So if you go here, connections, whether it is a flat file or Oracle. So it is a Oracle and it is in a target schema. So the lookup object is, so T underscore location. So on this table I'm looking up. So here we have, let's preview whether it's working or not, the connection. Yeah, we are able to fetch the data. Okay. So here if you see, multiple matches is there. Return any row, return first row, last row, any row, all rows, report error. So these fields we will be using based on the scenario. Okay. So now, since we don't have any multiple matches here, so for each row we have a particular names. So what I'll do, I'll just keep it as like this, return any row, since we have only one particular matches only. So if we go to advanced here you can write query as well, and you can filter as well. Okay. And if you just scroll down back, look up catch persistence. If you can enable here itself. So if you want to use it as a dynamic lookup catch, you can enable this dynamic lookup catch. So by default, when you selected the lookup transformation, by default it will be like a static catch. Even in Power Center, it by default it will be a static catch only. Now lookup conditions. Here you can see the naming conflicts are there. In Power Center, we don't see these kind of errors, and we might need to change manually. If you forget doing if there are any conflicts, okay, in Power Center, so when we will come to know means after while designing all the thing and you created a workflow as well, after running the job, then you will come to know what are the conflicts or errors with this. But in IICS, if there are any such kind of name conflicts, it will just show up here. So we can rectify here itself. Just click on this resolve field name conflicts expression. From expression it is coming. Why we are getting name conflicts? See, in location we have employee name, email ID, department ID, salary, right? Even in source also we have ID, name, email, department, salary. So for that reason it is showing the error. What we can do, we can just simply rename. So we are get the source is coming, right? Source then expression. So we can just rename here itself. From expression, whatever all the coming, I'll just keep it as a s underscore, so that I'll come to know s underscore columns are coming from the source. So now it got eliminated. So click on this lookup condition. So based on which column you need to look up the data. One more important thing here is, if we want to look up data on source or target or flat file, anyone, okay, there should be a common column. There should be a key column. First of all, it should be a key column on both the tables, and it should be a same column. Here I have ID. So here I'm just looking on the department ID. Here I have department ID. Okay, in the location as well I have the department ID. So I'm gonna match these two department ID. If department ID is matching, then we'll be fetching the other records. So what I'll do, I'll select here department ID. So department ID, these are all from the target, which means the lookup table here. Since I have renamed the source columns, right? So department ID equal to, so if you see s underscore, we have s underscore, which means these are all the columns coming from the source. So department ID equal to source department ID. If it is matching, then it will return any rows. Okay. Return fields. I need to get all the fields, or if you want to get only some particular fields, like you need to get only location, you need to get only department name, you need to get only manager name. In that scenario, you can just enable these things. Okay. Or you can delete the columns here. Okay. In this case, I'm fetching all the fields. Okay. In advance, we have seen in the lookup there itself only. So these are all the properties we have here. Now in advance we have same here. So now we are done with this. So then I'm loading into the target table. So these are all the incoming fields, source, and these are the lookup. If you want, we can rename these as well. target, this is the target, these are the target fields and field mapping. Here you can see we need to map, right? Department ID, these are all lookup transformation columns, and these are all our source. So what I'll do, I'll map source employee ID to ID, SID, and name to name, email to email, department ID to department ID, salary to salary, and location, department manager name. These are all are coming from the lookup. So from lookup, department name, location, and manager name we are mapping. So now let's arrange it, save it. So if you see, the mapping is valid now. For testing purpose, what we can do, if you want to preview the data here, so target we cannot preview it, so we need to run the mapping itself. So always remember, when you are designing the mapping, once you are done with creating the mapping, please try to create the mapping task for your mapping. It's a best practice. Okay, for time consuming purpose, I am not creating mapping task, but while you are practicing, please try to create the mapping task and run the job. So I just run the job now. So this is the mapping. Always select runtime environment and your mapping. Can't run. So you can see it got succeeded. 15 records has been loaded. Okay. I tried 15 and loaded 15 records. Let's check in the target table. This is the table, right? So as you can see, based on the department ID, we are able to fetch another 3 columns from another table. Now we can see the entire employee information is here in one table. This is how we can uh, pull the data from different sources. So we will be using this in our real-time projects. Okay, we will not get all the details in single source. Okay, we need to get the details from different sources, and we need to map according to the business logic what the business is expecting. So to get that result, uh, we need to get different sources, and we need to use all kind of transformations available in IICS. So when we do all these things, then we will get the required data. So on that data, the business team do the analytics on that, and they will try to improve the business. This is how we need to design the lookup transformation. So this is a connected lookup transformation, right? If you go to lookup transformation here, lookup object, return any row is there, right? Let's say if we have a uh, multiple matches. So let's say for department 2, the department name is IT, right? If I create another department 2 with the another department name, let's say here we have testing, sales, development, and support, right? For the same department head, if we have another department name like what we can say, hmm, if we have the department name as finance for the same department ID, so at that time, what we need to inform to the Informatica. So whether you want to get any row, or you need to get only return the first row, or you need to get the last row, or you need to report an error. If the departments are, if we have two department names in single department for single department number, let's suppose you need to get an error, report an error. Okay, how we can do this? This is like error handling in lookup transformation. This is also one of important concept. So how you can validate the data? So this is how we can validate it. If we are expecting some kind of or might get some kind of data from the source, then in that case, what we need to do? If you are facing that kind of scenarios, then it should get an report an error. So what error it's need to get? Let's see. So for this, we need to use the sorry, we need to use the mapping task. In that, we will be having a error handling. So there we can define the conditions. Okay, let's check. So let me try to insert one more record in this table. Insert into table values. So for department 2, okay, comma, location, Bangalore, comma, and department name. Okay, as I said, finance department. Okay, and the manager name is Rob. So I have inserted one record which is having the same department number. We check here for department 2, we have a IT. Sorry, for department ID 2, we have department name IT, and same department ID 2, we have a finance department. Okay, now let's see. Let us refresh this lookup transformation. Okay. Mm, okay. So we don't have to refresh. We just inserted the record, right? I'll just rerun the job and see whether the record will be inserted or it will throw an error. Run the mapping. See, we got an error warning here. Let's see. So, what is the error message? Multiple match found in loop. Okay. So it fetched that it read 15 records and it just loaded only 13 records. Another two records it's not loaded. Why? Because of due to multiple match. Let's check in the target table. So here we have only 13 records. Okay, if you see the department ID 2, we don't see anywhere. Do you see anywhere the department ID 2? No, right? We have 1, 2 not there, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is how we can design the error handling as well on multiple match. Okay. Suppose here in lookup transformation, go to lookup condition and lookup object. On multiple match, we are what we are informing to Informatica to throw an error or to give an warning to us. Okay. What if I select return first row? Okay, let's save it. This operation we are doing on multiple matches. Okay, if there is no multiple matches, whatever we uh, give the option here, that will return. Okay, if we have a multiple matches, whether you want to return first row, last row, or any row, or all rows, let's check all these properties now. return first row. Okay, I have selected return first row. I'll run the mapping now. Let's see now what we will get. Whether we'll get 16 records or 15 records. So now we got 15 records. Where is that? Yeah. So we got 15 records here. If you see, we have a department ID 2 here, and do we have anywhere? Nowhere, right? See, if you see, we got the finance name. Okay. So we inform to Informatica here to return first row. So it is taking it as in a alphabetical order. How many departments we have for the department ID 2? So for department ID 2, let me pin this. For department ID 2, we have IT and finance. So what it has taken? It has taken the first row, finance. It has taken the finance value. You see here, we loaded the finance. And if you change the property here, last row, let's see now we should get IT. So we got 15 records loaded. Now if we check this target table. So for department ID, now we got IT. So this is how we can, so if you see only IT we are getting. So this is how we can configure last row, multiple row. If you return any row, it will just fetch any one, whether it is a finance or IT. If you select this return all rows, what it will do, whatever the department IDs are matching, whatever the department names are there to that particular department ID, it will fetch all the records. So this purely we will use this based on the scenario which we are designing the mapping. Okay, it's entirely depend on the business. So we use mainly on return any value. So now if you see, we got 17 records. Okay, if you run this, so we got 17 records. So two finance, two IT, two finance, two IT. Okay, so this is what the connected lookup transformation. And we do have a catches, right? We will discuss about dynamic catch in a separate class, in a separate session. So it's like important topic, and will be used on every mapping. Okay, mainly we use this dynamic cache in dimension level. Okay, that we will discuss about in a separate class. Okay, this is all about lookup transformation. I hope you guys understood this, and I'll be sharing this document in the in the description box. Please let me know if you have any doubts on this topic. Okay, let me know in the comment section. Please do like my videos. Please share with your friends and support me. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Bye.